Welcome back to the channel. This is your Manchester United versus Real Sociedad second leg match preview. Now, first of all, let's talk about the first leg because I didn't make a match reaction for it. I thought for majority of the game, for that 60 minutes, we were brilliant. And Real Sociedad didn't look like they stood a chance. Yes, they were missing their star player, RUBEN, who I mentioned in the preview in the first leg. However, they didn't look like a top side. Right, for the Real Sociedad that I know when it comes to how they've performed in the league in previous years, that wasn't that team. Obviously, Oyarzabal scored a penalty, and the European rules when it comes to handballs, that isn't given in the Prem, but it's given in Europe. You just have to be careful, don't you? If it hits your hand, no matter what, technically it's a penalty. That's the way it works in the European competitions. But it felt like United gave up after that penalty, and we were quite lucky not to go 2-1 down, in my opinion. However, I'm not going to dwell on the negatives too much. I want to focus on the positives. The positives from the Real Sociedad game and the Arsenal game. Now, for me, against Arsenal, obviously, I was interrupted by a steward as well when I was recording outside Old Trafford. However, we showed a lot of fight and courage and passion against Arsenal. And that was against a team that doesn't really matter. Now, you could say that it's more disappointing for United if we lost than Arsenal because, you know, their title race is over and United need to try and get as many points as we can to get out of the rut we're in. I mean, we're 14th in the league. We do need to start winning some games like consistently and just try and go on a bit of a run and just try and go up the table as much as we can just to save ourselves a little bit of dignity, I guess. But when it comes to the Europa League, like I said in the video against the Arsenal game, it's our golden ticket. If United want to save ourselves when it comes to funds, then the Champions League is where we need to be. Yes, United won't win the Champions League next season. We might not win the Europa League this season. However, it is that chance. And our running, compared to the other teams, I actually favour us. We've got quite a nice run. Yes, they're difficult games, but each and every team in our position in the Europa League will be thinking, we can win this, because there are a lot of underdog teams in there. But, you know, Old Trafford on a European night, I don't think it gets much better than that when it comes to atmosphere, when it comes to passion, when it comes to the fight. United are undefeated in the Europa League. Let's be honest about that as well. Despite our form, United are the only team in world football that are unbeaten in Europe, in the Champions League, in the Conference League, and in the Europa League. That is an incredible achievement despite the season we've had. So let's keep this going. Let's keep this unbeaten streak going and try and win the whole Europa League. Because like I said, it's our golden ticket. It's our gateway to the Champions League next season. Because let's be honest, in the league, we're not getting there's not a cats in hell's chance we're getting European football next season. So like I said, smashing Real Sociedad is a must. And over the last 2 or 3 games now, I've been really impressed with us. Fulham, Real Sociedad and Arsenal. Yes, all 3 of them have technically been draws. We drew 1-1 in each and every one of them games. But it's not about the results. It's about the way we're playing now. We're not struggling and scraping in games now for survival. It looks like something sort of clicked between the players that are available. And they're starting to gel a lot more. I'm loving Garnacho's new role over the last 2 games, playing on that right-hand side. He's looking so dangerous. He's less tempted to be greedy as well and go for a shot like he would when he's cutting off the left 10 position. He's now putting balls into the box. He's making crosses. He's being faster and direct and making them decisions. He's looking like the player he was last season in them last 2 games. And I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, but that's just one major positive I can take away from the last few games. And Real Sociedad are a decent team. I mean, RUBEN is going to be playing on Thursday. But hopefully United have the likes of Harry Maguire and Manuel Ugarte as well. So let's talk about a predicted 11. Because it can definitely favour to 2 different teams. Now, I'll talk about the team that's just played against Arsenal. And based off, let's say, for example, Maguire and Ugarte aren't back yet. But starting 11 against Real Sociedad, you've got the likes of Andre Onana. You've got Mazraoui. Obviously, Onana, let's scrape that first. Onana first, right? He's our main goalkeeper. Whether you like him or not, he's the number one, right? Defenders or players who can play in the centre-back position. You've got De Ligt, you've got Lindelof, you've got Yoro, you've got Mazraoui, and you've got Aiden Heaven. So there's 5 options already. Plus Maguire. I can't hold it because I've got my microphone. So plus Maguire as well. So there's 6 centre-backs that are available. I feel like I'm missing someone as well. No, Sandro Martinez, but he's injured. But you've got 6 options there who can defend as that centre-back position. So Yoro has been brilliant, but he was took off against Arsenal with an injury. So he might be a bit of a doubt. So we'll take him off the list just to give him a bit of a rest. So you've got now 4 to 5 possible options, including Harry Maguire. As it stands, and if it was up to me, if Maguire's fit, you start him. But if he's not, you go with the same back line you did against Arsenal in that second half. You go for Aiden Heaven, you go for Lindelof, and you go for Matthias de Ligt. Yes, it's not the flashiest, but yeah, I think that if Ruben Amorim does have that team, he probably would go for Mazraoui over Aiden Heaven. So it'd be Mazraoui, De Ligt and Lindelof if Maguire is not fit. But if Maguire's fit, I think he starts. So we'll have to... It's quite hard to call up the centre-back position at the moment. Wing-back. I mean, this is why I kind of wanted to save Mazraoui, to be honest, because Dalot hasn't been good this season. That's not an unpopular opinion. That's a fact. And Mazraoui against Arsenal had that major chance where David Raya was forced to make that world-class save. He seems to be more suited and more switched on in the wing-back position than as a centre-half. And I think he's a lot more dangerous as a wing-back than Dalot is at the moment. And I would consider him, but I don't think Ruben Amorim will. I think Ruben Amorim will go for Patrick Dorgu and Dalot on both the wing-backs. So Mazraoui will probably stay in the centre-half position if he's needed. The midfield, this is where I'm praying Agate's fit, because Casemiro cannot play 3 games in a row because he will gas out. I mean, I think if Agate is not back, you probably will have to say it's Casemiro or Toby Collier next to Bruno Fernandes. But as it stands, I just can't call who's going to start in midfield. That's the biggest issue. But if it isn't Casemiro or Agate's back fit, it will be Agate and Bruno Fernandes in my opinion. But Casemiro, he knows that style of football against Real Sociedad, so he would be very important to have in that team in my opinion. And then front 3, obviously Chidi Martin's not available. I wouldn't start Eriksen because he looked quite wasteful against Arsenal. So I would start Joshua Zirkzee, Rasmus Højlund and Alejandro Garnacho up front. They did well against Real Sociedad in that first leg. Let's do it again at Old Trafford. And let's actually keep that rotating forwards. Like Zirkzee switch to striker, Højlund goes to left 10, or Garnacho moves to left 10 and Højlund stays as striker and Zirkzee moves out to right attacking mid, or that right 10 position. This is what I'm talking about. It's these little changes and patterns of play we're starting to see under Ruben Amorim now, and the players are starting to get it, which gives me full confidence in we can beat Real Sociedad. I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory on Thursday against Real Sociedad. Now, I'm recording this on the Tuesday, so this will be released on the Wednesday. So hopefully I'm just praying to God that we get that positive injury news of Agate and Harry Maguire. But based on Real Sociedad, I don't know how they play. Obviously, they play that Spanish-type football. They'll play football. They'll play fast-flowing attacking football. They'll try and beat us in the midfield with patterns of play and creative passes. But I feel like if the players can keep the shape and keep the formation and keep to the game plan, we can win the game. And like I said, Zubimendi is a brilliant player. He was wanted by Liverpool, he's been wanted by a few clubs in Europe, and he is linked to with a move away again this summer. However, I don't think he's that type of calibre of player that can change an entire team's performance. He's a very good player, don't get me wrong, but I don't think the Real Sociedad we played on last Thursday will be much different to the team we'll play this Thursday. Zubimendi will bring a lot more quality to their midfield, no doubt about that at all. He'll bring probably that thing that was probably lacking in their first game, and it will be difficult, but at the same time, I don't want to contradict myself, but I have full faith and confidence in this team that will get the better of them, and it's as simple as that. We've done the hard part by going into their ground. We've got Old Trafford. Now, I understand we've not been great playing at Old Trafford this season. We have a much better record by playing away from home. And Real Sociedad will be up for it because, like United, they've not had a great league campaign and they'll be wanting to fight in Europe and get into that Champions League spot like we want to as well. But I think when it comes to player for player and pure quality, maybe apart from Oyarzabal and Zubamendi, I think for player, United have a lot of United players in that team. I mean, Alex Romero, their goalkeeper, is a very good goalkeeper. I'm not going to deny that. However, I just think United will have too much for him with our current injury crisis. So I'm just hoping that as the season goes on, when we get the likes of Mason Mount, Luke Shaw, Kobbie Mainoo back, it will be a massive help, hopefully. But we'll have to see how it goes. And I'm hoping if we can put them away early, 2-0 in the first half, or maybe even push it to a 3-0 by the second half or the 60th minute. I know United don't score a lot of goals, but then you can rest some players for Sunday against Leicester because even though Ruben Amorim is very limited with his options at the moment, he's got an opportunity to kind of put a team away and sort of think towards the future. And Leicester away is going to be a tough game. Yes, they're bottom of the league or joint bottom of the league, whatever it is. They're in the relegation zone anyway. And I feel like that it's easy for Leicester. Look how many times we've beaten this season. I think it's 4 times or 3 times we've beaten this season. So I'm not concerned in the slightest when it comes to Leicester, when it comes to quality. We've played them too many times already this season. We should beat them. Ruben Amorim's already beat them in the FA Cup. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, thank you for watching. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you are new. And I'll see you in the next one. Let me know in the comments down below as well with your score predictions. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you in the next one.